Once again, welcome back to another episode of Geeking Analysis. This week, we'll be exploring the Arkhamverse for the first time, specifically exploring Gotham's mega prison known as Arkham City. Enjoy! Arkham City, also known as Old Gotham, was a walled-off section of Gotham City that was turned into a mega prison and overseen by Hugo Strange, containing every prisoner from both Arkham City and Blackgate Prison. This section included the Gotham districts of Park Row, Amusement Mile, the Industrial District, and the Bowery. Established just mere months after the Arkham Asylum incident, the historic asylum was left desecrated and lost to poison ivy's monstrous mutated plants. The concept of the city was conceived by Ra's al Ghul as a means to sterilize Gotham of its criminal underworld, with the idea being proposed to Quincy Sharp, the former warden of Arkham Asylum, by Hugo Strange. It was Sharp who proposed the idea to the people of Gotham while he was running for mayor. This helped him win the mayoral election with a landslide. The trigger for the prison's construction was Joker's riot in Arkham Asylum, which saw the collapse of the asylum not long after the transfer of every Blackgate prisoner. The transfer was the result of a mysterious fire that broke out at the prison, burning it to the ground. This was the linchpin Raz, Hugo, and Quincy needed to kickstart the program. With the city constructed, a militaristic security force was put in place to keep a sense of order in the prison. The company who won the contract to police the city was Tiger, who was sold Arkham Island just weeks before being awarded the contract. They were indifferent to that of a tyrannical army, being equipped with near limitless resources and ruling over Arkham City with an iron fist. Tiger were also awarded the ability to police Gotham City eventually, being able to arrest anyone who Quincy considered a criminal and locking them in the facility without trial. The GCPD lost much authority during this time due to Tiger's takeover. Arkham City saw many of Gotham's most infamous faces locked in there, with the likes of the Joker, Penguin, Bane, and Poison Ivy all locked away, as well as the henchmen that obeyed them, including the Abramovich twins. Three of Arkham's major faces formed factions and a three-way turf war began. The Joker, Penguin, and Two-Face established themselves as Arkham's major criminal powers, with Harley Quinn siding with the Joker and the remaining supercriminals, such as Mr. Freeze, Bane, and Poison Ivy, taking their own sides or siding with Hugo Strange, which is what Deadshot did. There are a number of political prisoners placed in the facility, including reporter Jack Ryder and billionaire Bruce Wayne. Jack was reporting on a campaign that had the intention of closing Arkham City down, with Bruce being the lead figure. However, the campaign's undisclosed intention was to place Bruce in the city, where he would change into Batman and kickstart the shutdown of the city. Many of the notable political prisoners were on the hit list of Deadshot, who was hired by Hugo Strange to cleanse the city of these notable individuals. However, there was one politician who unintentionally ended up in there, that political prisoner being Mayor Quincy Sharp himself. It was one of the consequences he faced due to granting Tiger too much authority over Gotham and Arkham. The head of the prison was Professor Hugo Strange. Professor Hugo Strange was a psychiatric doctor who worked in Blackgate Prison around the time of the Joker's emergence and later Arkham Asylum. One of his patients prior to Arkham City's establishment was Quincy Sharp, who Strange used as his puppet in order to rise to power behind the scenes and allow for the foundation of his Arkham City project into place. This foundation was cemented with the Joker's takeover of Arkham Asylum, serving as the catalyst. Strange headed Tiger at the tip of Wonder Tower, a historic landmark of Gotham City as well as the central point of Arkham City. He oversaw the events of Arkham City as far as the eye could see. It was as if he was at the top of the world. However, Strange was nothing more than a mere pawn of Ra's al Ghul, who was the ultimate producer of the Arkham City project. Raz, also pronounced as Raish, was an immortal human addicted to a substance known as Lazarus. He was an international eco-terrorist who had an unrivaled hatred for the criminal underworld, going as far as to wish it were eradicated. He had arrived in Gotham as early as the 19th century with plans of purging the city of its criminals. This plan wouldn't even come close to succeeding until the 21st century, with the establishment of Arkham City. Raz was the puppeteer who controlled Hugo Strange, Quincy Sharp, and the rest of the city. His intention was to use Protocol 10 to sterilize Gotham of its criminals through mass bombardment of the city. This came close to succeeding as the plan had commenced. However, the protocol was ceased before it had a chance to cause massive amounts of damage to Arkham City, or even the criminal underworld. Hugo Strange had been killed by Raz at this point in the game, who believed Hugo's role had been fulfilled. Moments before his death, the Professor executed Protocol 11, which saw the top of Wonder Tower blown up. Batman and Raz both fell from the tower, with Raz plummeting to his latest death, being impaled by the sign at the top of the city's entrance gates. Trigger of Protocol 10, as well as the build-up to it and Tiger's takeover of Gotham, led to the city eventually being shut down on the very same night that Bruce Wayne was incarcerated into the prison. Prior to the shutdown, but after Protocol 10 was initiated, the Joker had died while fighting Batman inside the Monarch Theatre. He had contracted a Titan-related illness after taking an extreme dose in Arkham Asylum at the climax of the riot he led. The cure, which was developed by Mr. Freeze, was dropped onto the floor by Batman, with a bottle containing it shattering into shards. The Joker unintentionally caused this, as it was him who stabbed Batman in the shoulder, which in turn caused the cure to drop. Moments after, the GCPD was ready to begin storming Arkham City, with Commissioner Gordon taking the lead. Over time, much of the facility had been taken over by the GCPD, with the industrial district being the most difficult to take over. Harley Quinn, who had lost it after the Joker's demise, had fortified the industrial district, with the Sionis steel mill being her HQ, and, according to Robin, was preparing for war. Her henchmen, who were former henchmen of the Joker, were mostly armed with machine guns, snipers, and shields. They were prepared for the GCPD to start their siege on the district. However, Batman and Robin put an end to this over the span of a few days, with Batman even going MIA over these days. By this point, Harley had lost her turf to Batman and the cops, and the Arkham City project had finally been put to an end. So, we've reached the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like and share the video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already. It helps the channel, motivates me to continue, and means a lot to me. However, that's up to you. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, with the links to both being in the description. I hope to see you again in next week's video, and until then, bye!